worldwide. Dow right now down 29, S&P down 5. I'm Chaz Henry.
In a world where man services machine, there is one elite team with Ford-designed tools, Ford-certified training, and Ford-backed motorcraft parts. They are the specialists at Ford.
Now get a $50 mail-in rebate on any motorcraft brake service when you use your Ford Service credit card. Subject to credit approval, taxes extra, rebate by prepaid debit card, pants or shoes on most vehicles, one axle, exclusions apply. See your participating Ford dealer for rebate details through 12/31/15.
As the owner of the sock shop, there are a few things I can count on during the holidays.
Cary.
No one will get their dad, everyone will decide at the last minute, and they'll decide.
That is really
on
messed up to
And now,
smell
thanks
that
to
right
the
now.
Postal Service, my customers will know exactly when dad's socks are delivered, which is nice, because it's
No,
the
not
only thing
cool.
the poor guy's gonna get.
Introducing real-time delivery notifications from the U.S. Postal Service. Now your customers will know right when their packages arrive. Another reason, this is our season. The U.S. Postal
We have
Service.
a topic today?
Priority you.
It
U.S.
is.
only. Most
It
notifications
is.
transmitted within a
It's
few minutes of
the
the delivery scan.
Parents'
Bridge
Bill
to
of
Home will
Rights.
hold its third
It's-
annual
I'm sorry?
Soup for the
Parents'
Soul fundraiser
Bill
Saturday,
of
November
Rights.
14th.
Got it. Remember that one? Remember that?
Yeah, we did that
a few months ago.
On
3
campus
months
of
ago
Real Life
ish.
Church. Bridge to Home is Santa Clarita's homeless services agency. Not only do they provide emergency winter shelter from November to
But it's
March,
good
they
stuff.
also provide year-round case management, dental, medical, life skills, and referral services to those experiencing homelessness. For more information or to purchase tickets, please call 254-4643 or visit btohome.com.
It's painful when your teenager and your household is out of control. Out of control behavior is your teen's way of telling you something is wrong. Sometimes the reasons for their out of control behavior are so personal and tragic, your teen would never tell you or anyone else about them, but their actions speak louder than words. If your teen is suddenly exhibiting out of control behavior and hanging out with the wrong crowd, there is something you can do. There is hope. Action Parent and Teen Support meetings meet at Canyon High every Tuesday, 7 to 9 p.m. They work with teen anger, defiance, rebellion, truancy, and drug and alcohol problems. And meetings are free. Give them a call. Their counselors can help. Call 297-8691 or 1-800-4TEEN. That's 297-8691 or 1-800-4TEEN. Action. They can help.
And now a cooking tip from Keith Mowry from Bob's Country Meats. Try cooking something exotic this weekend. How about barbecuing buffalo steaks?
Buffalo. We have buffalo patties, buffalo steaks. They're high in iron, low in fat. They come out for a real nice meal.
Buffalo and ostrich are just some of the great exotic meats you'll find at Bob's Country Meats. Chicken, tri-tip, pork chops, turkey, and steaks. For the tastiest meats in town, visit Bob's Country Meats on Soledad in Canyon Country.
Infertility. It can be devastating. You've tried it all. Now try something different. Something holistic. Acupuncture. Kathleen Keneally is Santa Clarita's acupuncture and innate specialist. She's been successfully treating many of your neighbors. Infertility, allergies, sinuses, headaches, pain, stress. Kathleen has worked wonders helping people achieve pregnancy naturally and with assisted reproductive technology. Improve your life. Call Kathleen Keneally for a free phone consultation. 252-4100. 252-4100. Acupuncture. It really
30
works.
seconds.
Okay.
Join Santa Clarita Transit on Saturday, November 7th for a patriotic ride to Knott's Berry Farm. The one-day round-trip service coincides with Knott's Berry Farm's annual Military Tribute Day, offering free park admission to all retired or active U.S. military plus one guest. The Santa Clarita Transit excursion to Knott's Berry Farm is available to everyone for just $3 each way. A free day at Knott's for all military and one guest, along with a safe, easy trip thanks to Santa Clarita Transit. Details at santaclaritatransit.com.
Hi, George here with your hometown forecast. Sunny and warm today with highs reaching 90 degrees here in the Santa Clarita Valley.
It is nice this today. It's gonna be a nice week.
A decrease as the week progresses, dropping to the mid-70s.
70s, mid-70s, I
Overnight
like
lows
it.
will drop to the low-50s. The third annual
Mid-70s this week.
Expo and Senior Health Fair is designed for seniors, those planning their senior years, and for those who are caring for a senior. This free event takes place Saturday, October 31st at the Hyatt Regency Valencia. Learn more by going to goldengearsexpo.com.
Come on, people now, smile on your brother, everybody get together, try to love one another.
From the studios of KHTS in beautiful downtown Newhall, California, it's time once again for Families in Action with your host, Cary Quashen. Families in Action is brought to you by Action Family Counseling, drug and alcohol counseling for teens and adults, and by the Action Family Foundation, and by KHTS, AM 1220, your hometown station. And now, here's the man with the most. Here's your host, Cary Quashen.
You know what, Mike? Every week we come in here and we do this, and it's been over 13 years, huh? Almost 13 years.
That's amazing.
So I'm just thinking, wow.
We say that a lot, but I mean, in a way, you have to say, what else have I been doing consistently for 13 years?
Well, I could answer that. I mean, lots of stuff. I mean, we've been at the Behavioral Health Unit.
That's a fact.
13 years plus over at Henry Mayo.
We sure have.
Action Family Counseling, the Drug and Alcohol Treatment Centers. I've been, 30 years. And before it was called Action, it was called Avalon. And before that, it was ASAP. But so it's really kind of been a long journey, So yeah. Somebody said to me this morning, how do you do what you do with dealing with people in crises for so long? And my answer, without burning out, and my answer was, how do I not? You know what I'm saying?
I understand exactly what you're saying. Gary.
I mean,
it makes total sense.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a rough profession that we're in,
and it's not for everybody.
No,
not at all.
I've seen counselors literally being carried off of chemical dependency units and psychiatric units because they just got overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. I've seen so much in my 30 years of doing this, but the trick is you got to take care of yourself and the mission. You always follow the mission. If you keep the mission in mind, things are good. And the mission is helping people.
And it has to come from your heart, really.
Right.
I'm amazed daily at the nurses.
It can't not. I mean, if somebody doesn't have it in their heart, they can't do it.
No,
it won't last.
I'm amazed daily by the nurses in the behavioral health unit.
Oh yeah,
and you have to be amazed daily by the counselors at Action because of what they go through. It's not easy, and what walks through the door is always something different.
Always something different. I mean, it's the same, but it's different.
If it's different personalities, different histories.
Yeah, we deal with people that are, how do I say it appropriately, broken. They're broken. They're hurt.
And it's a heavy responsibility because the bottom line is real simple. We save lives.
And we do. I mean, just for a second, take the behavioral health unit for a second. 23 acute beds. The only 3 ways to get there is what?
You have to be suicidal with a plan, which means that it's more specific, and the more specific a suicide threat is, the more apt a person is to carry it out. Homicidal with a plan, same thing. And gravely disabled, which basically means you can't get through the day without some kind of assistance and help.
So people come there, and they're literally broken. They're hurt. They're sad. They're alone. They're scared.
All of those things and more.
Yeah, and if we, meaning the behavioral health unit or Action or any rehab or psychiatric facility that deals with people, if we don't figure some kind of way to give them some kind of hope, we lose them. So how many lives are saved? Many.
And look at Action. When somebody comes through the door, they're giving up a lifestyle that they have absolutely been mired in for sometimes a very long time.
Sometimes a very long time, sometimes a very short time. And just a quick story. We admitted a child, 16 years old, to our facility this weekend. Father found the kid unresponsive, heart stopped. CPR saved the kid's life.
Oh, been there, done that. Yeah.
Oh, you're right. You have. You actually brought your kid back.
Well.
Yeah. Well. Yeah. So it's really, we're playing with people's lives, and we got to do it right.
Yeah. But you know what, Cary? If you weren't there,
yeah,
the other option's not acceptable.
No. But if you just kind of think about it, I was speaking last week to some kids, some adults actually, parents, and I was saying if anybody could just climb in my pocket just for a day, just for this morning in the behavioral health unit, and before I went to the behavioral health unit with the phone calls that I'm dealing with, if you could just kind of, for just this morning, hang out, you couldn't imagine the things that we do and see. Every day.
I talked to you about this once before, you and I did, at a Christmas party one time, and you had all the action folks were there, and I was at the Christmas party, as were some other people from the behavioral health unit, and there were folks at one point in time that stood up and just wanted to give thanks to Action for what it had done.
Right.
And these were people that had been addicted, or had been people that are addicted, and one of the families that impressed me so much, and it brought tears to my eyes, literally. It was a mom, the dad had an addiction problem, and their young daughter. And they were all standing up there hugging each other, and especially the young girl, and the little girl said, I want to thank Action because you gave me my daddy back. You gave me my family back.
Yeah. So you want to know why I continue to do it? Those stories.
That's it.
That's why.
And those phone messages you keep on your cell phone, Cary.
That and those phone messages that I keep on my phone, and the phone calls that I get that I don't keep.
Yeah.
That I know at the end of the day when I lay down at night, it's all with me. I know what we're doing. I know the lives we're saving. So yeah, it's pretty incredible. It's not. I mean, it's not me. It's. I really believe I'm just one little piece of the puzzle. It's the whole team. It's you at the behavioral health unit. It's the docs. It's the nurses.
Oh, absolutely. And as we also know, it's the housekeepers.
It's the housekeepers. It's everybody.
It sure is.
I was thinking we had a person in some other facility. I won't mention the name, but came in strung out, major drugs, pregnant. And not only did we detox the person, but the baby was detoxed before even leaving. I mean, just think of the miracles that happen.
Oh yeah, and the doctor that did that. Wow, that's a big wow.
Yeah. Incredible stuff. So we see miracles every day, don't we?
We sure do. We see a bunch of them.
We see people that come in that are so helpless and hopeless, and they leave with hope and a mission.
That's something, isn't it?
No, that really is. I'm just thinking about that. Feels really good. I have to kind of be a little grateful because a little rough morning over at the facility this morning.
So I heard, Cary. It can get that way in a heartbeat.
You can go from A to Z and not stop at anything between.
It sure can.
Yeah, it sure
Thank goodness we're all trained to handle it.
Thank goodness we are. Yes. So, hey, today, so we have parents that come to us, especially our support groups and all that kinds of stuff, and they just feel beaten up, abused, helpless, hopeless because their kids are so out of control, and they feel no hope. They find themselves, as you can see, our first paragraph. I want you to read that because that really makes sense. Well, the many families that find themselves.
Just before I read it, I wanted to say, sometimes, Cary, and you see this all the time, you have, let's say, a teen in crisis.
Right.
So where is all of that family's energy and concentration put on that situation?
You know what
and
happens?
They forget that they're a person too, and they need things.
And here's what happens. Parents come to our support group, right? By the way, it meets every Tuesday evening at 7 o'clock at Canyon High School. It's open for anyone. We have a teen group and a parent group. But when parents come there, they don't come to Action Parent-Teen Support Program because things are good. They come because there's a child somehow out of some kind of control, either using drugs, not going to school, or both. Maybe depression, self-esteem, suicidal tendencies, some gang stuff. So they come because the kid's in crisis. Now, we know if there's a teen in crisis and there's a mom and dad even living together, remember we live in California, divorce capital of the world, but if everyone's fighting at home, everyone is going crazy. The kid's out of control for sure. We know that. Mom's blaming dad, you're too soft. Dad's blaming mom, you're too hard. People are sleeping in other rooms talking about divorce. It's out of control. And at the end of the day, the one who loses is everybody. So we came up with kind of like a Bill of Rights. And these Bill of Rights, I need to tweak it a little bit. They've been around for 25 years. And they were written by parents and kids 25 years ago. So they kind of really make sense. And the reason why they were written is because people really came. They didn't know what their rights were. Parents had no clue what they can and what they can't do. They were living in fear. And we all know relationships in fear don't work.
Not much.
No.
Not much. Well, let's set this up just a little bit more. Many families find themselves in stormy situations when their adolescent goes through the difficult period of development. These crises are often accompanied by rebellion, drug and alcohol abuse and dependency, poor communication, low self-esteem, disrespect for authority, lack of motivation, academic problems, and conflicts associated with divorce, death, peer pressure, and the stress and strains associated with living in today's society. And we want to go into this saying there are no bad kids. However, there are kids who make bad decisions.
Right, and I was talking to somebody today about their child, actually, and I was saying the kid really, right now, is using drugs, committing some lightweight crimes, getting himself in trouble, flunking out of school. And my message to these parents it's the same thing it is to all parents, is when we have a child that is out of control and can't make good decisions, we then as parents have to make decisions for them. And we got to remember that adolescents, their brains aren't developed yet. So let's say we have a 45-year-old person that's using drugs or drinking or depressed or whatever it is, and we want to do an intervention. Interventions are very powerful. They work extremely well if you have all the right components, right? The people, the places, the things, to do an intervention. And adults can actually process that. Mm-hmm. An adolescent can't. So sitting down with a 15-year-old kid saying, drugs are bad for you, you shouldn't have stole, you need to go to school, isn't going to work because they can't rationalize what you're saying. All they're going to say is, I have no problems. I like what I'm doing. I can stop whenever I want.
You're the one with the problem.
You're the one with the problem.
Yeah.
So exactly. So we have to, as parents, sometimes step in and make decisions in our child's best interest that they're not going to like.
Right.
They're not going to like it at all. And you know what stops most parents from making those decisions, Mike?
They want to be their child's friend.
They want to be their kid's friend.
Wrong.
Kids have enough friends. They need us to be mom and dad. Once we're mom and dad, it's in stone. We can then kind of be a buddy. We can't do it backwards. We can't be a friend then try to be mom and dad because we will lose that respect. So and you know what? Does your kids like you every minute of every day? Do you like your kid every minute of every day? Now, I know we all love our kids always, right?
Right.
But we don't have to like them.
That's right.
And we don't have to like the behavior. My daughter, her sons got mad at me and you don't like me. No, I love you. I just don't like your behavior.
Right.
And it's okay for us to be mad at our child. And it's okay to step in. And it's okay to do things that they might not like at the time, but they'll appreciate later in life. If that makes sense.
It does. Now, here is the first of the Parents' Bill of Rights.
Written by parents and kids.
There you go. You, as a parent, have the right not to explain your behavior.
Wait, let's stop right there. Oh, no, keep going. I want to...
A trap many parents fall into is trying to explain the logic of their decisions to their child.
Let's stop there. Now, let's say you have a 15-year-old, and this 15-year-old wants to go hang out with whoever he wants to hang out with and come home whenever he wants to come, and you try to explain logically that that's a bad idea.
Right.
Is that going to work?
No.
Why?
Well, for one thing, they want what they want. End of story. And they can't process the rest of it.
And they can't process it. So when you try to explain logic to somebody that can't quite figure out that logic, what does it turn into?
Well, power of wills, because that's part of what we're reading here. They ignore the logic, or they argue you into exhaustion and compliance with their desires. Now, how many times have you literally seen that happen? They argue the parent into exhaustion and compliance, where the parent just throws up their hands and says, oh, okay, do whatever you want to do.
And then what happens is they come to us, and the parents feel their self-esteem is so shot. They feel so bad about themselves, where they just feel like a wet noodle, because they've given into every demand that their child has. Now the problem with that is, then they come, their kid's 16, 17, and completely out of control, and they're saying, "What do I do?
What happened? What happened to him?"
And I used to. It was really hard for a long time for me to try to figure out how did it get so out of control in these homes. The answer is pretty simple. We surrender.
Correct.
We give up.
And here's the bottom line on this particular parent's rights. If you make a decision you do not have to explain it. So if little Johnny says, but why, you just say, because that's my decision at this point. End of discussion.
But I want to go to the movies with my buddies. I'll
No.
be home at 3:30 in the morning.
No, end of discussion.
Why not?
No, end of discussion.
And that's really the way it is. When we start trying to explain situations, we set up an argument. Now, some of us have kids that, they can, hey, why can't I go? Because it might be dangerous, there might be drugs. And they're, okay. And those kind of kids, please explain logic to them. But if you have one of them kind of kids that says, why? Why not? And they go into all that stuff, forget it. The answer is no. That's what it is.
Now, you have the right to change your mind as a parent. Although
I got to tell you a funny story first.
Okay.
I'll never forget this. I was at Walmart with my daughter. She was, I think, 6, right? And it fits in kind of what this is. We're walking through the toy department, and there was a dad with a little kid. I don't know if he's 3 or 4 years old. It was a long time ago. It was 11 years ago, but I'll never forget it. And the kid was arguing with his dad. You all see that in markets, right? The kid wants candy, they're going to argue. Kid wants a toy, they're going to argue. This kid was screaming he wanted this blue ball. The dad said, you're not getting the blue ball. And picked the kid up, and they went that way, and Courtney and I went that way. And as we're walking, she said, Dad, guess what? I went, what? She goes, that kid's going to get the ball. I went, get out of here. Right? And I'm walking, we're doing our shopping, and guess who's in front of me in the line?
With a whole basket full of blue balls.
He had a red and a blue one. No, I'm just kidding. But the kid was there with the blue ball. So what message do we really give our kids?
Well, that one wasn't a good message.
But we all do that.
Yeah.
You can't. Please. No, please. Well, maybe. Okay. With the message that we give our kids when they're really young is we don't mean, no doesn't mean no. No means maybe, or talk me into it. And if you really work me into it, I'll give it to you. So it's just kind of a message. We really need to take a look at ourselves. And why did Dad buy the kid the blue ball?
So he could stop, so he could take a break, so he could get out from underneath the pressure, so he could make his child happy.
Why do you think candy stores make it in the mall? There's that big old candy store. What's it called?
Right.
Why? Because parents use it as bribery.
There you go.
Really, that's one of the reasons.
Here it is. Now leave me alone.
Yeah, if you be good for an hour and let me shop, we'll go to the candy store. Okay.
Ooh.
Successful. Yeah, pretty wild, isn't it?
Wow.
So we can go on.
You want to do the next one? Or
I think we're going to take a break in a minute. But
you have the right to change your mind. Although
No,
it is
you don't.
desirable to be consistent, there are times when circumstances change. Your child may appeal to the consistency rule by saying, but you said. This is not the time for a lengthy justification. Just clearly state your current position, and that's it.
Exactly, and that goes back to what we were saying just a few minutes ago. We change our mind as parents because we want our kids not to be mad at us. We change our mind when it comes to parents because we want our kids to like us. We want our kids to just listen to us, so we bribe them. There's so many things that we really need to pay attention to that we're really doing more harm than good when we do that kind of stuff. Can I stay out to 3? No. Can I stay out to 3? No. Okay, come out just one time. So the message we're giving them is we don't mean what we say. So if we don't mean what we say, how can they respect us and trust us?
They can't.
They can't. On that note, Mike, I think it's time for a break. What do you think?
We'll be right back with more Families in Action and Parents' Bill of Rights right after these messages.